Okay, hey everybody, so we are going to continue with the process of painting this. So we painted the inside, which was like the area right here where it say big treats, and we painted the shelves. So now we are going to start painting the outside little by little, starting with this part first. So I got some acrylic titanium white paint here that I just got, along with some acrylic dark brown paint that I'm also going to be using as well. I'm more so going to be using the brown for the inside and then the white for the outside. We're going to get started with the paint. Okay, and got my paint brushes. So we are going to start with the windows first. I'm going to grab my paintbrush and I'm going to dab it into the white paint, and we're going to start with the windows. Now, I'm going to tilt it this way and hold it like this so that way you can be able to see what I'm doing. We're going to start with this window first since I'm closer to this one. And we're literally just going to paint it just like this. I'm going to go over it more than once though, so that way we cover up everything, okay? I really like the way this project is coming along so far. And I did order more little cakes and desserts to go with this. Once we complete the inside, and you guys will get to see all the desserts and all the treats and stuff, but we didn't get to that part of it yet, so you guys gotta wait for that. But we are gonna go over this a couple of times just to make sure I cover up everything pretty well. Okay, so I'm gonna go over it again. And when I say cover it up pretty well, I mean like painting it enough to where you don't see the color of the cardboard. You really want to cover it up, so you want to go lightly, which is what I'm doing. I don't want to go too rough or anything like that. Gentle as possible. And I feel like when you take your time, the more neater the paint will look as you're applying it. I feel like when you're rushing, it just looks very sloppy and it doesn't look as neat. And I don't want that. So definitely take your time with this. There's no need to rush. Okay. Alright, that's how it looks. Let me fill this spot in more. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Okay, I'm gonna add more of the white paint, and then I'm gonna do the door next. I was supposed to start with this part first, but I figured that the windows might be a little bit more tricky to paint, so I just figured I would start with the windows first before the next part, just because that top part, this part is pretty easy to paint, so I feel like the windows will be better to start with anyway. Like I said, putting as much paint as possible will just make everything look so much more complete, and it'll just look better. You guys will be amazed by how this project turns out once I'm completely finished with it. I was thinking about adding the name. I think adding the name might be one of the last things that I add to this before I completely finish with it. Sometimes it's excess paint that gets on the side, so let me make sure I'm covering that up. Okay, so finish painting that. Now I'm going to move on to the door now. For the door, I think I'm just going to lay it flat, because I think that would be the easiest way for me to do it. Yeah, this is like a chocolate brown. I like the color of this brown, This is not hard to paint at all. This is a beautiful brown though. Okay. I don't know if anybody else's hand starts hurting when they start to paint, but mine's do here and there, which is really weird because I wouldn't think that it would, but it does. Okay. This is a beautiful brown. I love this brown. Okay. I wasn't expecting this brown to be this type of shade brown. I thought it was going to be a lighter brown than this, but this is even better though. Usually go over it as many times as possible. Alright. So I'll put a little bit more brown onto the tray. And I'm getting paint on me in the process, but that's okay. It's just paint. Okay, so I'm going to go over the same spots again, just to make sure that I cover up all the spots that I need to cover up. This is what it's looking like. Now this hook right here for the open and close sign, I think I might leave that the way it is. I don't think I'm going to paint that because then it's going to blend in too much with the color of the door. I don't really want that. Alright, don't look complete just yet, but it's getting there. Alright, another part. Alright guys, I'll do the next part on the next one.